Hey everyone, just wanted to do a quick video showing the HG-4 honing guide and basically how you would go about setting it up properly. And when I say properly, I mean we are going to set it up so that one, the blade is set at the correct angle, two, that it doesn't interfere where you're grinding these edges off of or bind the wheel, which is the other thing that we see a lot. If out of the box, you'll get the honing guide itself and a setup reference block, something like this, showing you the angles from 20, 25, 30 to 35 degrees. You'll probably have some sort of tools as well included, which you'll need as well. So make sure you have that. This is a small Allen hex wrench. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to be pulling the iron off of this HP9 here. And this iron is, I believe, a dual angle 20, technically a 25 plus 5 or a 30 plus 5, meaning it'd be 30 degrees or 35 degrees. And to get that iron out, I'm just going to flip it off upside down like so, slip the iron out with using my fingers to kind of hold it while I do that. I'm going to set this aside like so, and we have the iron. This is, if you look carefully, a double beveled iron. So like I said, it was a 25 plus 5. Well, technically this side is 25 plus 5, and then this side is a 30 plus 5. And how you can tell that is this is a much more gradual angle, so that means that that angle is lower, versus this one has a steep or a shorter distance, and that is a more aggressive angle. So I'm going to use this side, the 30 plus 5, so equaling to 35 degrees to set up on this specific jig. So to do so, what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to grab the honing guide, and I'm going to adjust this, this lead screw here. And I'm kind of going to back it up to a middle point like so, to give me room to adjust this roller as I'm setting it up. The next thing I'll want to do is grab the wrench and kind of loosen these two little set screws at the bottom, which kind of holds or helps keep the orange sliding bar here, which helps align and keeps the iron squared in place. I'm going to snug it up just a little bit, so if you snug it up just a bit, you should still be able to slide it. So, and I might have done it a little too much, so back that up just a hair where I can start feeling it slide. There you go. Just like so. So I'm going to be able to slide it. It's not going to fall off on me while I'm doing this just because I snugged it up just a hair. I'm going to do the same on this side, and I'm going to kind of back it up just a hair so I can kind of still be able to snugly, or slide it, but it'll be firm still. Because why is that useful is because the next part I'm going to loosen this clamping mechanism, and I'm going to get this iron, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm using the 30 plus 5, so the 35 degree part of the guide. I'm going to use these lines to kind of help me find a part where I can kind of line it up, and I'm going to push this orange bar up against the iron, just like so. From there, while holding the iron and the guide, I'm going to tighten down on this clamp, this piece up here, this knob at the top, and this will kind of start getting everything lined up for me. I'm going to again push that orange bar up against it, kind of making sure that the iron sits in the middle of the clamping surface like so. And at this point, we are probably close, but we're not quite there yet. And one thing I want to show or reference at this point is that when you're making contact, you want to make sure that in this specific iron, there's a bevel and a micro bevel, which is the little tiny edge at the very end of the cutter or the iron. Make sure if you're setting up this specific iron that you're contacting the micro bevel and not the bevel itself. Like I said, this specific iron is a 30 degrees plus another 5 degrees, making it a 35 degree angle. And when you're setting it up, you'll want to use a flat reference block or something like a flat reference surface to set it up. Be careful, because you'll want to make sure when you tighten this knob, you'll make sure that this iron is seated far enough that it raises this part off the ground. And what I realistically mean is if you kind of come down low and take a look, and this is where I might have to take the camera view here. I apologize if you see the table kind of shake. It's because I touched the camera, or at least the camera tripod. But what we're gonna see here is the way you want to set up this iron is that you'll want to make sure there is clearance underneath this section here. You see the iron is touching, the roller is touching, but this is cleared at the bottom or in the middle. When you set this up, you also kind of, one way to do it, and I'm going to try to do this with the camera here, is that you'll set it up to where it kind of does that. There's still a little bit of clearance here, and the bevel is starting to touch at the very front here. At least the micro bevel in this case. And what we're going to do here at this point is remember that we left a little bit of distance at this thread, or some tolerance at this thread right here. So right here, we left some room to allow us to adjust for the roller. And why is that important? Is because the next thing I need is with that setup block, I'm going to bring it over, and this is the 35 degree over here. I'm going to put this reference, this iron up to this. And what I will be doing is I'm going to be matching up the angle of it to not the bottom, but the top surface. Meaning if you look at this point up here, right here, this is going to be hard to kind of show you, and I might have to adjust the camera to show you this part. So give me 1 second, let me adjust the camera again. And if you look right around there, you see there is a bit of a gap of light between this black portion and the iron part of the, so meaning the the setup block and the iron. So to get this to 35, what I'm going to do at this point is adjust this roller and raise it up to that 35 degree point of mark or contact point. If you are, kind of still not in place or close enough, then this is where you'll need to adjust the iron and kind of get it into a different scooch, basically the iron closer. And I'm going to do this real quick by taking it back off and kind of setting it a little closer like so, and bring it back on the iron or onto this reference block and seeing if I can get it closer. And if I'm looking at it right now, I am getting pretty close. And this is where you might need a reference light or something to kind of look through this crevice right here. So if you kind of look, I have it close. It's not quite there, and I will have to fine tune this. But if you've ever put it back onto a flat surface, you should see the iron tip is touching not the bevel part, but the micro bevel. And then this part is not contacting the bottom or the flat surface. Because what you'll be doing is you'll be rolling this on a grinding or a grinding stone or a sanding stone. And that at that point, you do not want to wear away at this joint right here that holds the clamp. When you are using this honing guide, make sure you apply even amount of pressure side to side. Make sure you don't, push down too much on one side or push down too much on the other side, because you'll end up unevenly grinding out the iron as well. And also, when you're working with the rollers, be careful, because the rollers are can bind up with the metal dust or shards that builds up from the slurry of the iron, so meaning the metal dust. So every once in a while, you'll make sure that you'll stop, you'll inspect the iron, and also inspect the wheel to make sure that you have still a rolling brass roller. And if it is starting to bind up or kind of cake up, then you might want to rinse it out real quick, clean it off, and then from there continue your work. So at this point, it is, set up pretty close. Like I said, if you need this orange piece to be used for reference, then you'll need to tighten this back up at this point and make sure everything's set up correctly. So I'll go back underneath and kind of tighten that up. And this should have been done when you were setting up the iron, but I kind of forgot. But yeah, this should be how it should look. Micro bevel touching the surface, the bevel cleared, and this part that holds the clamping mechanism is cleared away from the surface that you'll be using. Or in this case, I'm using a flat reference block as a demonstration. The roller is in position, and if you put it onto a reference block, like I said, this is a 35-degree micro bevel, and you push it up, you should see that the black part of this piece right here and the top of the iron should be contacting all the way through. So meaning if you lean it up against the light or look at it at different angles, you should see that it's touching all the way through. And that would indicate that you have it set up correctly. Again, it's good to know the angle of your irons because this will make it crucial or critical to how you set it up or how to set it up properly. Again, I hope this helps. If there are any questions, please reach out to us, and I hope you have a good one. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.